I think econometrics would help quite well, really. There are a number of strengths in econometric analysis. The first is that it actually requires a clear hypothesis to be set. So one has a clear idea of what exactly one is testing. One can then test that against empirical data that one would get from robust statistical sources of sufficient sample size, so that one can conduct robust hypothesis testing on the basis of these empirical data. That would allow one then to test statistically whether the variable that one was interested in has or has not a certain confidence interval a direct effect and a significant effect on the dependent variable, in this case the amount of WEEE target that's targeted. The benefit of that is twofold, really. It first of all provides statistical proof to a significant level as to whether or not external variable, an exogenous variable, has a direct significant effect on the dependent variable. But secondly, more than that, it can also give a robust measurement of the precise scale of that effect, and it can quantify what that effect would be. For instance, one could say that if disposable income were to rise by a certain amount, that might have, say, a coefficient effect of, say, 0.3 or 0.4, whatever the outcome would be, and one would then know, what the incremental change would be in one's target variable, in this case the WEEE, from the change in the exogenous variable. That would allow one then to do forecasting. If one could use external forecasts such as from the Office of Budget Responsibility, etc., about the future trajectory of the economy, future projections for economic growth, and one could then use those projected values and the coefficients that have been determined econometrically to simulate what one would expect the target variable to be, on the basis of the econometric model that one had. So it has a lot of advantages. You can actually test the hypothesis on the basis of confidence intervals. You can have a reasonable degree of confidence on the validity of your results, and that would allow you then to do sensitivity analysis to what the margins of error would be likely to be. It's not just a kind of a point forecast. One can also have ranges of uncertainty around that, which is also very important for the kind of policymakers in seeing the likelihood of a certain outcome for the movement of these exogenous variables on the target variable. It's quite a powerful tool, and one of the kind of problems, I suppose, with it is that it is actually quite demanding in terms of data requirements. I think, saying some of the exogenous variables, the data should be available, from the ONS macroeconomic data. But the problem might be that there may not be sufficient data at present for some of the target that one is interested in for the dependent variables, such as WEEE, etc. I mean, part of our discussion today has been indicating where there are some deficiencies in the data around some of these variables, and that is something that would have to be addressed. By having an econometric model, one would see what the precise data requirements were, rather than just saying, well, we need more data in general. We could say that, given the fact that we have data for the exogenous variable, we want an equivalent set of data set for the dependent variable, and that would guide us to procuring the requisite data for the dependent variables, for the WEEE variables, etc. as well. So I think it would be very beneficial to do it. It's not the easiest straightforward, but I think it is worth the effort going forward to try and do that.